Hey, it's Christopher, and welcome back to Watching, Winning, and Wrecking. Texas in the rearview mirror. Two more races left in the round of 8, and getting kind of thin. Opportunity lies ahead for 3 guys who have net to win the title. And one makes his way into the Final Four for the very first time, and Kyle Larson secures his spot in the championship for leads 256 of the 334 laps run at Texas. A career year for Larson, as we all know, and we'll have a chance to cap off that dream season, career season, in victory at Phoenix and as the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series champion. And that would only be fitting. It'd be the first Hendrick driver. He's the first Hendrick driver in the Final Four. Could have another one in Chase Elliott. And first Final Four appearance for Larson. Does it in his first year with Hendrick. And sweeps both the races at Texas. You remember the All-Star race was run at Texas this year, and Kyle Larson, of course, is victorious. And a career that really was starting to look in 2020 as a drunk person on roller skates. You'd think it was all going to fall off the rails for Kyle Larson. But this is the sweet and sour of it, is it not? This is the sweet that Kyle now is enjoying the fruits of his labor. Is excelling as a Hendrick driver like we knew he would. Larson's top fives in 14 career starts at Phoenix. So some work to do. I know he'd like to get that. The best finish was second in the spring of 2017, but 3 top 10s in the last Phoenix races he was in. So that's the sweet, but the sour really is, and it's been well documented. We're not going to get into too much detail about it, but the slip up uses the derogatory comment to African American folks during a iRacing event. Chip Ganassi lays the hammer down on him, fires him from the 42 team, spends most of 2020 out of the season. Only 4 races in 2020. Majority of the season, I know the coronavirus, COVID-19, ruined a lot of the season. It was like that for the world, right? It was something that it put the world on pause. But in this sense, it didn't affect Larson too badly, as he didn't compete in any of the Cup races other than those 4 starts. Went on hiatus and never returned. Won a lot of races, in his extracurricular activity, silver cars. Is a talented driver. Larson will drive anything on 4 wheels, 2 wheels. It's a true definition of a racer, and I think that was the sour that his career could have went south. Maybe no one gives him that opportunity, but Rick Hendrick forgives, like most people should. Everyone deserves a second chance, and this is Larson in the 5 car, and this 5 car is going straight to the top, and I've had a really good season, much made of it, and rightfully so. And Hendrick goes for the Cup title. The last time a Hendrick driver has won back-to-back titles, Elliott did that last year, was 2009 and 2010. That was with Jimmy Johnson. And Larson can try to win Kansas and Martinsville, but no pressure here. I know that was just pad his stats. Really put an exclamation point on this championship, the cherry on top of the sundae, or the cupcake, if you will, if he comes out victorious in 2 of those races. And obviously, I think it's going to take the victory in the finale. That seems to be the trend since 2014, is that the champion wins the final race. Larson's best finish at Kansas was second in the fall of 2014, and he had his last top 5 there at Kansas in the fall of 2018. That eliminated him from the playoffs in that season. Heartbreaking, because he had such a good day. And Hendrick Motorsports has last won at Kansas in the fall of 2018. And the last time the 5 car has won the championship, 1996 with Terry Labonte. So you're going back a long way here. And And Larson, it was an upset of sorts, Labonte over Jeff Gordon that year. Both had great seasons, but Labonte was able to outlast Larson, and that really kind of trumped the ideation that the 24 car was the heart and soul of Hendrick Motorsports. That's a lot of clout. You look at the 24 car and the 48 car throughout the history, lots of victories, lots of championships, but the heart and soul of this organization has always been with this 5 car. Tragedy struck them, as you know, celebrating the anniversary of the passing of Ricky Hendrick and Randy Dorton, and then a lot of the really heart and soul of the Hendrick Motorsports team passed away in that tragic plane crash at Martinsville back in 2004. And I think this team really thrives on that. And Ricky Hendrick, this is the paint scheme. This is Ricky Hendrick's paint scheme that he's run all year, Kyle Larson. The HendrickCars.com, the blue and the white, red trim. And there's been 3 wins for Hendrick this year. 3 of the wins in the next 3 races. That's 15 wins for Hendrick Motorsports in the year of 2021. This team is 13, excuse me. This team's doing a great job at, for years, I said the transition. You had Kane leave, you had Dale Earnhardt Jr. leave, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon. And the team was in flux with a lot of younger drivers coming in. Took a gamble really on Alex Bowman. A lot of people didn't know much about him. As I said, he hadn't really been in this position before to be with a really successful team. And it's all working out for them. You know, Chase Elliott last year, you know the story. First-time champion, first time in the Final Four. This history repeat itself, and Larson is crowned the champion when we head to the Valley of the Sun. And I think it is going to be a good season for Larson next year in his second year here. And I don't really talk about the championship hangover. It's something that's talked a lot about in pro sports. And you see it from time, the sophomore jinx when it comes to rookies. But you just don't get that feeling. You feel that this 5 car is really building something special here. And this could be a dynasty-type team like Dale Earnhardt. Excuse me. Like a Dale Earnhardt with RCR. I guess we could use him. I meant to say actually Johnson and Gordon when they were part of Hendrick Motorsports and won 4 championships and 7 championships respectively. So I'll go to NASCAR report. We'll see. I hope we don't see any more Mickey Mouse comments. As we all know, I despise those comments because I think they're absolutely silly, ridiculous. But let's go to the NASCAR report, and you're going to probably see a couple of those idiotic comments. But Larson wins at Texas is the headline. And we go to Koslow, a guy that we hear from quite on the regular on this trend. The race was so bad, but people are going to say it was good because of the last 20 laps. Not wrong. I mean, Texas, if you see, there was the place has been repaved. I remember the first year they were there. Complete fucking disaster in 97. It was the walls of the track, the barriers where water was dripping out of them. It wasn't a good track for a long time, but it's developed into one of the better tracks through the years. I wasn't overly impressed with the race itself. I know I'm always glad to see Larson win. He gets himself just 2 consecutive wins here, if you're counting at home. And then Chase Wilson forces the Koslow. It didn't help that half the field got took out at lap 30 because some people making stupid moves that don't need to be made. That's subjective. That's your opinion. Rowdy victories, not Roddy. We're not talking about Roddy Piper. Rowdy, God rest his soul. He passed away 6 years ago. The Hot Rod. It's one of the 80s and 90s landmark wrestlers. Rowdy victories says to Koslow, the last 20 laps were a fucking joke. Jack MP3 to Koslow. I was about to say otherwise, but you're completely right. It would have been better if those 20 laps we had a leader change. I don't hate Larson, just prefer excitement. Well, it's all subjective. Maybe this is exciting. I like Larson a lot, and it's no secret that I do. I had no issues with this. I thought this was entertaining 20 laps, if you want to go that route. It is nice to see a battle at the end, photo finish, but it doesn't always work that way. NASCAR Fan 2000, Larson's good when this dude already has the graphic prepared. Laugh my ass off. Well, okay, he's a little overzealous, the NASCAR report, the person who manages the count. Yes, he does post the person wins the race premature even before it becomes official. A common mistake on social media. I remember last year the Los Angeles Chargers with their walk-off chicken parm. Still had about 40 seconds left, so it's not a walk-off. They wanted to lose that game. Everett at Tally, okay, says, bro, the race hadn't even ended. And Hiram Strong says, this was your call, dominance. This is amazing. Cameron, 1975, I hate watching 500-mile races where I predict the winner before it starts. Okay, fair enough. Larson is a top dog this year, so that can be problematic, but he's not going to win every race. Could be a different winner at Kansas. Who knows? Don Allen, 25. Anybody see where Denny finished, or is he still crying about people racing him fair and square? He finished 11th. Ryan Flores, 36 pugs to Mr. Don Allen. Anybody see Matty D win the race? Or is he going to cry and use his woe is me attitude, I deserve a cup ride, when he pretty much blew his chances? Okay, let's stop for a minute. That'd be Benedetto. I don't get this. We talked about this when he was linked to Rick Ware about a week ago. How's he crying? The guy is a competitor. He wants to be in Cup. He has a burning desire and a passion that I think some of these drivers could take. DiBenedetto is leading by example. He's not being spoiled. He wants a top tier, right? Because he wants to win. He's got a lot of passion. He loves the sport. Hamlin, on the other hand, feels like I think things are owed to him. A sense of entitlement. It was a great paint scheme, by the way. The Craftsman paint scheme he was running. Very slick. Haley Deegan ran that with the truck this year, and so did Daniel Hamrick in the Xfinity race the day before. No one was ever, I don't know where the Matt DiBenedetto line comes in here, but Don Allen will respond to Ryan Flores and say, bah ha ha, show me one clip of him complaining like Hamlin. Exactly. I think DiBenedetto is going to remain the top free agent out there. We all know that. He deserves a cup ride, but will he get it? I just don't see how the DiBenedetto comparison, or even why we're comparing and contrast Hamlin to DiBenedetto. He had nothing to do with this conversation. Nathan Kyle OTF says to Ryan Flores, you got a great point. Only reason people feel bad for him. Then we go Joey Logano 22 with a Mickey Mouse win bullshit. Okay. And we have Florida Diecast 1 to Joey Logano 22. TF, you talking about his ass dominated the whole race. I know. Sorry. Baby Logano blew up. Okay, well. And then the Logano 22 to Florida Diecast. He dominated, with that stupid-ass alternator he used. Okay, but I don't get the reference. He had alternator issues the race before. And wins. And I didn't think there was any issues here. And then we have Florida Diecast back to Joey Logano 22. Bruh. I think he's saying bruh. It says B-R-U-H. I think it's bruh. Like, is that Dr. Bounty Hunter? You're on ice, bro. Brah. Everyone was brah on Dr. Bounty Hunter if you were watching that show on A&E years ago. That was last week and has nothing to do with him dominating. And he's got the laughing emoji. It's true. I think he's getting his races mixed up here. And then Brawl Stars Gamer Boy 2004 to Logano. Ha-ha. So, ha-ha. Like the Jeff Jarrett laugh or the Jim Ross laugh. Salty Logano fan. And he's got the crying emoji. Hold this L. Bubbanator 2000. Not just the Terminator, but the Bubbanator. I don't care what y'all think. He has cheated all season. Y'all are blind and get to see the BS that's being thrown in your faces. Larson's playing NASCAR to win. Y'all say daddy's money for others' drivers. Larson is using and taking Hendrick's money. Okay, well, Of course he's taking Hendrick's money, you dumb fuck. He races. He's employed by Hendrick Motorsports. He races for Mr. Hendrick. And he's here because he is a generational talent and the best driver on the racetrack at the moment. So fuck you, Bubbinator. And I Perry 15 says, okay, Bubbinator. And then Bubbinator back to I Perry. How are Wave fan or buddy? That makes no sense. Bubbinator, do yourself a favor, motherfucker. Why don't you take some of Mr. Hendrick's money or take Daddy's money, as you're saying in your comment? Go buy yourself a fucking dictionary, take an English course, and actually learn to properly come up with a clear and concise idea that forms a sentence. You dumb fucking hillbilly. And then C. Kellogg 7, keep crying, and he's got the crying emoji. Bubbinator to Kellogg, keep kissing Larson's ass. Pucker up, because I don't think he has to kiss anyone's ass. Larson is doing it all on his own. No one needs to kiss his ass. C. Kellogg, been a Larson fan since day one. My guy been keep clowning over Bubba. And then you have Brawl Stars Game Boy 2004, hold the cell. And then he also says, cry more. And JL Pins 15 says, hey, top 10 for Suarez. Nice. And he's got the c'est bon emoji. The tire news, Larson just wins everything. Trading card pulls, great ending, last 30 laps. And we have J-Dog, killing the field every week. Nothing to lose at Martinsville. All right, so I'm going to put the brakes on this. It's opinion again, as you'll know. Nobody likes a winner, and Kyle Larson is a victim of all the hate and upset feelings of the people who do not root for him or want him to win this championship. Well, he's got other plans. William Byron here finishes second, his third runner-up finish in 2021. Continues to flex his muscle as the season comes to a close. This is a guy who leads 55 laps, has not shown any signs of slowing down. True competitor. I cannot wait to see him and what he does next year. 4 consecutive top 10 in the last 4 races. Best finish for him. Previous was 5th in the fall of 2019 at Kansas. So he's doing what he has to do to win. Could he win Kansas? Could he be the spoiler? Absolutely. But this team is building for next year. They've not lied down at all. All gas, no brakes for Byron. Should have won the Roval, in my opinion. Really did a great job at Bristol to get to the round of 12, excuse me. Byron is the next great superstar in NASCAR. Christopher Bell outlasts his JGR teammates, a third-place finish in his second consecutive year at Texas. He finished third with the Levine family racing a year ago. 7 top 5 finish of 2021 and second in the last 3 races. Best of the JGR cars here. Hamlin, Truex had some issues. Bell rises to the occasion, eliminated from the playoffs, but again, finds a good way to get around Texas. Has to find a way now to convert those third place finishes into victories. That could be his ace in the hole next year if he's in a position to make the Final Four. Brad Keselowski, a 4th place finish. 9th top 5 of 2021. 2nd top 5 in the last 3 races. Could have won had Larson had not gotten such really great restarts and had to have been a little more laps. Keselowski was lurking there. The Penske driver still pedal to the metal, pushing hard to get a valiant finish for him. A 2-time Kansas winner. 5 top 5s in the last 9 Kansas races. So you can never count him out. Has never won the Kansas race in the fall, however. And Keselowski is 15 points below the cut line going into Kansas. So he has to just put it all on the table. I know he did make the Final Four last year. Was second in the points when the dust settled. Could very well win this thing. I don't see why he can't. A 4th place finish here. Is continuing to have a lot of fight left in him, and that's been well documented. I think he has a chance to this Final Four, but again, I think once the dust settles at Kansas, there'll be a little more clarity. I know that's an obvious statement, but I just can't help but feel Larson may have a say in this title fight when it's all said and done. Kevin Harvick, a 5th place finish here, 9th top 5 of 2021. Really down from the 20 a year ago. Much made of his, being winless this season. However, he's really just the difference between how many top fives or top tens he has this year. That's, I think, is really what gets me. It's not so much the zero in the win column. The 4 team is just all around has not been good this year. I don't know what's going on at Stewart-Haas Racing, but top tens hit 22 this year, down from 27. I know he will not be able to catch that record with 3 races to go. 3 more races to avoid the winless season since 2009. I know that's weighing heavily on him. But a lot of comments still. It's like this Elliott feud is what the straw that broke the camel's back for this team. And it seems like he's still fixated on this, where Elliott has moved on, and Harvick still seems to be all talk when it comes to this. Let it go, man. I think Stewart-Haas will have to evaluate their issues at the end of the year. I don't think he'll retire. I know that's a thought that might cross people's minds. You come off a season ago where you should have been the champion with those 9 wins to not really being much of a factor. He's still fighting it out in the end. Still a lot of game, but this whole Elliott feud's got to end. And I think it's just lame. Harvick has more things to focus on. He'd like to break that winless streak. I know Phoenix is a good race for him. But I think if Elliott makes the Final 4, and let's say Harvick is competing for the win, I sure to God hope he doesn't dump him and cost him a chance to lose the championship. I think that's just in poor taste. Salvage what you can. If you can get a win, it'd be nice for Harvick, but it's starting to look more and more of the realization that he is going to go winless the first time since 2009, and this team will have to go back to the drawing board. No lack of success for him and Rodney Childers through the years, so I think they'll figure it out. But at this point, I would leave the Elliott feud in the rearview mirror. You got bigger issues to deal with within your organization. Ryan Blainey, a 6th place finish here, 19th top 10 of 2021, second in the points following Texas, 17 points above 5th. Really strong runs in the playoffs. I know a lot of these tracks he hadn't had a lot of success at through the years, but has done everything right to keep himself in contention and have at least a chance to win when it counts. He is also another driver who has to really. I don't think he has to win to make the Final 4 here in these next 2 races. He has to maintain it on points, because I know at some point I'd have to say at least one spot will be decided by points, if not 2. But I know for sure we'll probably get a different winner at Kansas. I know I'd love to see Larson win them all, but I think Blainey has a real honest-to-goodness shot at making this. 5 top 10s in the 7 playoff races should really qualify. Should he qualify for the Final 4, is a 50% chance we'll have a new champion in the Cup Series, and if Hamlin were to somehow get in, 75% chance. I like that we will see a new champion crowned at Phoenix, the Valley of the Sun, in a couple weeks. Chase Elliott, a 7th place finish. Unlike Harvick, has seemed to moved on from that feud. 19th top 10 of 2021. Leaves Texas outside the Final 4, 8 points below 4th this year. He should focus on Martinsville. That's where he finally won to get him into the Final 4 a year ago. And again, I'm really hoping that he doesn't tangle with Harvick on the track anytime in the next 3 races. Just put this to bed. He wished him a happy offseason and a Merry Christmas. So I think that was Elliott's way of putting a bow on, from his perspective, this feud. I just don't see Chase making the Final 4 this year. I'm sorry to say that for Amanda and some of the other Chase Elliott fans out there, but I don't see this happening. I see this team on the outside looking in. They can build toward next year. He will not defend the championship. That's just my personal opinion. I could be wrong. It just feels like this 9 car has not been a championship level car all year. Consistently good car, but not championship caliber. Kyle Busch, an 8th place finish, 20th top 10 of 2021, 4 top 10s in 4 of the playoff races. The team has found a way to put itself in a position to compete for the championship and a 3rd title, possibly, for Kyle Busch. Goes into Kansas, 4th in the standings, 8 points above the cut line. Kyle Busch in the Final Four is an interesting thought, right? And much is made about this team not being a championship team all year. Ben Bayshore, the new crew chief, is just starting to gel with him, get the chemistry going, and I see this team finishing strong, but Final Four, I'm not 100% sold yet. I think I can't even predict this at this point, nor will I try to. But Kyle Busch, if he finds a way, like he always does, to reinvent himself and break records and rewrite the history books, a third championship, it's really I can't other way to say this is extraordinary if he can do it, and just how great he has been since that injury at Daytona that sidelined him in 2015. It's absolutely incredible. Tyler Reddick, a 9th place finish. The Ginger Monkey, as Amanda likes to call him, 16 top 10 of 2021. Best of the non-playoff drivers, in my opinion, since these playoffs started. 3 top 10s in the last 4 races. Has really found a way to finish these races strong and has finished in the top 10 this season. In the final 3 races, can he do it? I think he can. I think he can even win a race. And can he steal one from those drivers battling for Final Four positions? Sort of a spoiler role, if you will. And I know Amanda, I don't know, she's not a fan of this guy. He calls him the Ginger Monkey. But I think the Ginger Monkey, if you will, is a guy that is going to race you hard each and every week. He's a 2-time Xfinity champion. He's really elevated RCR since his arrival. And I think he is going to have a great season in 2022. And he's likely going to knock off not just 1, but maybe 2 or 3 wins next year. And I really believe that. You might roll your eyes and say, I don't see that, but each and every week he gradually improves, and Reddick is really starting to get the feel for the Cup cars. Daniel Suarez, a 10th place finish. First top 10 since Nashville in June. 4 top 10s in 2021. So this team has really struggled lately, the Trackhouse team. Strong start to the season, was exceeding expectations, has sort of faded during the summer months. I've acquired Chip Ganassi Racing, so he'll have a teammate next year. So a lot of resources going to be coming in. So there's brighter days ahead for Trackhouse Racing, but it just seems like this team struggled in the summer months, and a nice top 10 finish here for Daniel Suarez. I know they had a chance to win at Daytona. They were up front for a bit, but it just feels like this team never, since that finish at Nashville, never could put things together and just sort of coasted along for the rest of the year. But good to see them back in the top 10. Denny Hamill, 11th place finish, had to face adversity this whole race. Spun out in the closing laps twice, and he only leads 2 laps here. Fails to win the opening race of the round of 8. He won the opening race of the round of 16 and 12, was going to be denied here. Hamlin's worst finish in the playoffs so far, and he's 3rd in the standings, 9 points above 5th position going into Kansas. As a 3-time Kansas winner, seen as a title favorite by many on NBC, Brad Doherty and Jeff Burton. Actually, no, Doherty is in Larson. He's singing the praises of Larson as he was singing the praises of Johnson years ago when he was doing these broadcasts. But Jeff Burton made a foolish statement, in my opinion, saying that those 2 wins shifted the balance of power to Hamlin. I still think he's going to struggle to get into that Final Four. I know he's good at Martinsville. Good at Kansas, but I just can't see him getting there. If he does, good for him, but I don't think Denny Hamill is a real serious threat to Kyle Larson's title hopes this season. Martin Turks Jr., 25th place finish. Crash ruins his day. Apparently contact with Daniel Suarez. Incidental contact at that. He wasn't too upset in the post-race interview there. Second consecutive week his day ends in a wreck and finishes in the mid to late 20s. 22 points below 4th going into Kansas. Feels like to me, I still think he's a Final Four candidate. He swept both Kansas races in 2017 and does fairly well at Martinsville, so I don't think it's the end of the road. I think Truex is quietly the best car at JGR with Kyle Busch. I think the argument is made it's Hamlin, but I think these 2 guys have done, if not better, have outraced Hamlin all year. And Martin Truex Jr. is really just a clutch performer in the playoffs. Joey Logano, 30th place finish. Unfortunately, his day ends with engine failure. 43 points below fourth going into Kansas. Won the fall race at Kansas a year ago in 2020. Has also won the fall races in 14 and 15. But it doesn't feel like this 22 team is going to be a championship team. He'll need to probably win to make the Final Four, and he could do it at Kansas or Martinsville tracks where he has won previously, but I just, again, can't see that. The 22 team has had to face a lot of adversity this year. It just doesn't feel they're there in the thick of things, and that's just because they're a great team. Signs of a solid competitor or a great team that they can remain in the title picture this late in the year. Really with nothing too flashy. They haven't really set the world ablaze this year, but you never know. Joey Logano could rise to the occasion here at Kansas and go back-to-back at the fall event. Texas Xfinity race was on Saturday. Hunter Nemechek wins his second career Xfinity Series race. 55 career starts. Fourth start of 2021. He did some race for Sam Hunt earlier in the year, and now here two races with JGR. 10th win for the 54 car in 2021. They have got everything going their way. Was rumored to be possibly going to JGR in 2022 as he teased that on his Instagram page. He was signing some papers there, decked out in Toyota gear, but has elected to stay with the Truck Series program with Kyle Busch Motorsports. Leads 92 laps to overcome a speeding penalty on pit road to take the checkered flag, and that's a huge win for Hunter. I think Hunter Nemechek, I still like his chances to win the truck title. I think he could go back-to-back. I mean, next year, this team, if they are a championship team, could be right in that same position next year. But you feel like he's going to go back to the Cup Series, Xfinity Series at some point in his career. So, nice little run for him in that 54 car. Gets a piece of the pie there. Daniel Hamrick, a second-place finish, leads 55 laps, tries his best, but cannot compete with that 54 car and pass them at the end. This is the 10th time he has finished second in Xfinity Series race in his career. 13 top 5 finishes in 2021. And Hamrick still feels like he can be in this Final Four. I know he's pushing really hard to win. Hard luck loser is Daniel Hamrick. Has a lot to look forward to, as Dio would call it, next year. But just for whatever reason, this team cannot get it going. Miss a lot of opportunities. And I think that's really why that relationship has been dissolved and will not go on past this year. Noah Gragson, a third-place finish, will make his 100th career start at Kansas, 12 top 5s in 2021. And will have an uphill battle if he wants to make the Final Four, but is an unlikely champion for sure. Should he make that Final Four, would not count Noah Gragson out. Tremendous competitor, has done a lot of good work in this 9 car this year. And myself, I've doubted him. I used to call him the piece of shit here, but he's slowly earning my respect as, I guess, the season winds down. Justin Allgaier, 4th place finish, 3rd in the standings, likely to a Final Four candidate. 9 consecutive top 10 finishes, his longest streak in over 2 years. And I think Allgaier, again, if he's in the right place at the right time, doesn't have to do much to maintain his positioning, will make this championship Final Four and have an opportunity to finally capture the Xfinity Series championship, something that's eluded him for many years. And some of his statistics are really solid. He is, to me, the face of the Xfinity Series in the last 10 years. So it'd be good for him in Junior Motorsports to win another title. Austin Cindric, the defending champion, 5th place finish here, 5 consecutive top 10 finishes. 4 of those were in the top 5. Another guy that I think is going to be in the Final Four, have an opportunity to defend his championship, and he's on to the number 2 car. A lot of at stake for him. You know, I don't know how he's going to do in the Cup car. He's had flashes of brilliance in some of his Cup starts in the 33 car this year, but again, it's a different set of circumstances. That's more like an R&D car. He's going to be behind the wheel of the number 2. Pretty sure Jeremy Bullins is going to be his crew chief, so he has a lot of experience to bring to the table here, and I think he'll fit in just fine with the Penske Cup team. AJ Allmendinger leads 13 laps, 6th place finish. Pretty cool paint scheme he was rocking there. The Andy's Frozen Custard paint scheme. They were sponsoring the race, title sponsor for the Xfinity race, and pretty neat looking car for the Dinger there. But 21 top 10 finishes for him this year. AJ Allmendinger continues to defy the odds. I'd like to see him as the champion at Phoenix, but he's going to have a lot of stiff competition in Allgaier and Cindric. and then the other fourth participant, whoever that might be. Justin Haley, a 7th place finish, 8th consecutive top 10 finish for him. Will have to work hard to make the Final Four. He was there last year. Sort of a sleeper pick to win it all if he can get there. And I think Kaulig, as we said last week, if they have a 50-50 chance of winning a championship, I think that would be a huge boost to the team. That has really been the team of the season. Kaulig has outperformed JGR. The 54 car has been on rails. They've outperformed Junior Motorsports. This Kaulig team is a force to be reckoned with for sure. Harrison Burton, an 8th place finish, his 21st top 10 finish of 2021. Very disappointing year from Harrison. I think he would benefit from another year in the Cup Series. I mean, in the Xfinity Series, making that move to the Cup Series. And it's a tremendous opportunity with the Wood brothers in the 21 car. A lot of history, especially for a Virginia native. It's a team that's based out of Virginia, deep roots in NASCAR. And really cool to see Harrison Burton last year when he won those 4 races, but just been off for him, whatever reason, as we documented. Jason Radcliffe and himself have not been able to develop that kind of chemistry he had with Christopher Bell, and really propelled Christopher Bell to the Cup Series and made him out to be one of those top talents. Yet to see that, but I don't know. I just feel really nervous for Harrison Burton. I know it's a great opportunity to be in Cup. He's going to be aligned with the Penske team. But I think another year in this 20 car would have done him some good. Maybe make a crew chief change. It's very possible. I know he's lost Ben Bayshore, who's now with the Kyle Busch team, but bring in a Chris Gale. Bring in somebody, Dave Rogers, somebody that has that experience. And it's no slight on Radcliffe. For whatever reason, they could just not develop chemistry. And we know that in pro sports or in any walk of life, you can build something really great. And on paper, it looks indestructible. But if you don't have that chemistry and it's not clicking, you're not going to see those results. Michael Annett, a 9th place finish. Best finish since Road America. Final 3 races of his career coming up. He's decided to retire from the Xfinity Series. Had some injuries with his leg this year. Sat out a bunch of races. And he sat down with Jayski last week to talk about him retiring on his own terms. He didn't feel forced or pressured by anyone. This seat would have been available for him in 2022 had he chose to remain an active competitor and a really good, underrated competitor. I think Michael Annett will go down as a solid NASCAR driver. Had some Cup runs with Harry Scott. Nothing flashy about him. Nothing too, not a superstar in the sport by any stretch, but a solid, reliable driver whose career had been extended with the help of Junior Motorsports and a longtime sponsor, Pilot Travel Centers and Flying J. And going to wish him a lot of luck in the next 3 races. And great career, I think. Nothing to hang your head about. Not a Hall of Fame career by no means, but a very solid career for Michael Annett in the Xfinity Series. Brandon Jones, a 10th place finish, 5th consecutive top 10 finish. And what seemed like a lost year for Brandon Jones, he's finishing the year strong. Long shot to win this title, but I mean, if he can find a way, I know he's in a deep hole to make the Final Four. Why not this team becoming the championship team? I know no JGR team has won other than the 54. Be nice for Brandon Jones to have that distinction, and he is coming back for another season, as was announced this week. His 5th season with JGR, and Jeff Mendering, the crew chief, returns, as well as Menards, longtime sponsor for Jones. They sponsored him throughout his Xfinity career, and has made the final 8 in the last 2 seasons. So I think that was enough to solidify his position. Joe Gibbs Racing was impressed enough to keep him in the car for another season. And all of 4 Xfinity wins for Jones have come as a member of Joe Gibbs Racing, so that's nice to see. Brandon Jones, whose future seemed a little up in the air, but kind of knew Menards would back him up. A lot of people, again, they're disparaging comments online, daddy's money and so forth. A lot of foolish shit, but I think Brandon Jones has been a consummate professional. A little bit of trouble this year with the team for whatever reason. Poor luck. Had some mechanical failures, but all in all, this 19 car has kept themselves visible, and all the JGR cars have. I just think what is really bewildering about the whole thing is this team has yet to win other than the 54 car. And I think, I'm not sure what they have to do internally there next year, but JGR is a team that we'll see it as might have a disappointment aside from the 54 car seemed like it's its own team, and then you got the rest of JGR. But Brendan Jones, I guess, did enough work to earn himself a position with this car and this team for next season. And as we wind down the regular season in next week at Martinsville, on to Kansas this year, you can have all 3 races in action, all 3 series. Elimination race for most. So I guess the trend in the Xfinity Series has been a lot of the non-playoff drivers continue to find the winner circle. No one has yet to really reach out and grab the bull by the horns and be the dominant team. And I think that could be said for Allmendinger, Cindric, and Allgaier, who've all looked very sharp. And then you have drivers like Haley and Gregson, who really didn't start the year off so strong, but have put on a really good charge the last 2 to 3 months to put themselves in a position to sneak out with the trophy. So other news going on. I know this is a bit of a spoiler alert. I'm going to say it. I'll say it now. I'm recording this on Sunday, so I already know what happened in Xfinity yesterday, but we'll cover that next week on this program. It's fairly busy with my life. I have to start getting these podcasts out on a timely fashion. That's something I'm failing to do right now, but I promise I will get back on track. If you keep listening, I'll keep recording. Braves are going to World Series, man. First time since 1999. We haven't won it since 95. I've been a long-time loyal fan of the Atlanta Braves, so that is amazing to see. Going to face the Houston Astros, a team that we have a lot of history against, as well as the Astros were once a member of the National League. Played them in a playoff series in 2005. Who could forget? Marathon game, 20 innings. A little revenge on the mind of the Braves, I think, when it comes to the Houston Astros. But the hockey season has started. If you're a hockey person, that's on. That's another option to watch. Football's amazing. Lamar Jackson is the real deal. Best quarterback in the game at the moment. Big tangle with the Bengals coming up, so I'm going to tune in to see that and the other games as well. And just want to wish everyone a really good week. I hope whatever you do, you're doing it well and doing it with conviction. It's all we can do in life. Do things with conviction and do our absolute best each and every day of our lives, and to lead by example. Who knows? Maybe you're a role model to somebody, and you got to do what's right, not what's easy. And I just want to say to my partner Amanda, I love her a lot, as usual, as you know. Big part of my life and where I am today, and I just very thankful for her. And so Kansas, my thoughts on that. I would say I haven't done the 5 to watch recently, as you know. That's staying the season. I think if I have to just throw 5 there, I think Kyle Larson, of course, why not? He's a factor everywhere he goes. He's winning a lot of tracks he's never won at before. So does anyone have, realistically, we talk about it, I have to be partisan to some degree, but I'm going to be a little biased here. Not as bad as Ron Darling and Brian Anderson were in the game 6 with the Dodgers and the Braves. Fuck, did they ever. I never seen so much love for the Dodgers in a span of an hour and a half. That is such. It's just as if they wanted the Dodgers to come back and finish off the Braves. Force that game 7. It's not because it's not a sexy World Series, right? The Braves and the Astros. A lot of people are not going to tune in to see that. They need that revenge factor to have the Dodgers face the Astros again, with the Dodgers with revenge on their mind. I digress. But I think Larson, no one has anything for him. And what he's doing is absolutely incredible. It's shades of Jeff Gordon. It's shades of Jimmy Johnson, what he did in this 5 car. And the 5 car has been near and dear to anyone who follows Henry Motorsports and the rich history. So it's only fitting. And really, Larson, I think a lot of people say this, Chip Ganassi Racing lived and died by Kyle Larson. That's what they knew when they brought him in. He was supposed to be the face of the organization, the driver that was going to lead them into the new millennium and continue the next century, where it's a different millennium. But I'm just saying, he was seen as that guy that would carry this team on his back. And he had a teammate in Kurt Busch, a veteran. So there was a lot of the right pieces in place. But as we know, there's a lot of lapses in judgment. People do things sometimes that you wish you didn't do. But nonetheless, It happens, and you forgive and forget, and you move on. Larson has done everything he can to silence the doubters, proves everyone deserves a second chance, and I'm just really elated at the season he's had, and I'm very proud of Kyle Larson, and really a huge fan of this guy. He can win at any racetrack, and I know he would like to. I think this team will focus all its attention on Phoenix. It's going to be the career race for him. I know Wett's said a lot this is the most important race of his career, but it is going to be the most important race of his career on November the 7th. Absolutely. Turks Jr., I think, never count him out. He seems to get around these mile-and-a-half tracks really well. He swept the races in 2017. Always seems to race with a chip on his shoulder and a purpose down the stretch, and he's become a top star. He's reached superstardom with Furniture Row Racing, then has take that same success to JGR. Kyle Busch is also another guy that you can never quite write off anytime he's in the race and he's not having issues with the car or he's on the lead lap. He's always a threat to win. Throw in Matt DiBenedetto. I know he finished second here a few years back, and I mean, a lot of talk about people crying and saying that he's bitching about not having a ride. Matt DiBenedetto is a great competitor. And I think again, we talk about leading by example, doing what's right. A lot of people can learn from Matt DiBenedetto and what he is. He's got the passion. He is a racer's racer. He's a race car driver you want to root for. And even if it's with Rick Ware Racing, I think he could give that team the facelift they need to put themselves in a little more competitive position than they are at the moment. They have the potential to be somewhat like a front row team, Front Row Motorsports, who's always kind of been there, can run up front, can compete for the wins on super speedways. Can Rick Ware Racing become to that level, or will they reach the heights that another small team, here we go with the Rows again, but Furniture Row did? Can Matt DiBenedetto be that driver that, if he does indeed sign with Rick Ware Racing, now we're putting the cart before the horse here a bit, be that driver that makes Rick Ware Racing a factor on Sunday afternoons? I think they could have it with DiBenedetto. He's not, ever since the announcement's made, he's not going to return to 21 car. Has not laid down, has put all his effort, and is going to finish the season strong. Another driver to keep your eye on, I think, at Kansas, if we're going to that 5. I didn't write any notes for this, so this is all ad-lib off the top of my head. Why not an upset winner? Why not somebody that's not in there like a Tyler Reddick, that's really no meat, no skin in the game at this point? Had a chance to make the playoffs. He was in there. He got eliminated early. William Byron, even. It would be nice to see him, who has been just absolutely phenomenal this playoff. He's worked so hard. Alex Bowman, we know he has a lot of luck and is quite lucky at some of these tracks. So maybe Alex Bowman gets a win here. So could be anyone. Maybe Brad Keselowski, same thing too. He knows how to win here. Gets himself a win. Puts himself in the Final Four. And with a chance to leave Penske as a champion and bring that championship energy and momentum to a Roush Fenway Racing team that desperately needs a shot in the armor, and they're going to get that shot in the armor next season with Brad Keselowski and retaining Chris Buescher. So good lineup for Roush Fenway Racing next season. So that's going to do it for me. I'm waving the checker flag on this week's Watching, Winning, and Wrecking. I hope that you enjoy the program each and every week. I'll be back next week. We'll discuss Kansas, and we'll look ahead to Martinsville. The moment of truth for a lot of drivers, if they're going to be crowned champions in 2021. It's hey, it's Christopher. And until next time, I want to bid you a farewell and have a very nice week. I will see you.